Georgia Tech quarterback Aaron Philo. It was reported that he is going to jump into the transfer portal when it opens up, and reports are he is leaning towards going to the University of Florida to reunite with Buster Faulkner, his former OC at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it from a football perspective because Georgia Tech has poured time and energy into Aaron Philo being the heir apparent. Now, there were reports that came out yesterday, and we all knew this, that last year after the season was over, apparently a lot of people reached out to Haynes King and Aaron Philo. Haynes King even openly said it during ACC Media Days. He goes, yeah, I could have gone to an SEC school or a Big Ten school, but I wanted to finish what I started here at Georgia Tech. And honestly, they were maybe a defensive stop or two away and maybe a pick six away from really putting this season on one of the great seasons in the history of the school. So they already had to fend off people. But I thought by fending people off, it was going to be a guarantee that Aaron Philo was sticking around. But when your offensive coordinator gets up and leaves and he takes a bunch of coaches with you, a lot of times that relationship becomes too much to overcome.
Is it the worst case scenario for the Jackets? And I ask that question because you're going to have people leave. You're going to have coaches leave. You're going to have players leave. But you always need a sell. What is the sell as your offensive coordinator is gone and you had your offense, your track record of your offense the last couple of years? Now, what is the sell now that Aaron Philo could be going and now you might need to go into the portal and get yourself another transfer quarterback like you did with Haynes King?
Right, you may have to. And let's be honest, that's the way of the world when it comes to college football. Like, there used to be a time when you would graduate players and you go, oh my goodness, we're kind of thin at this position. How are we going to fix it? Now you just go, okay, that's fine. Let's fix it. The interesting part is, will there be more? Because I've seen some, again, internet rumors popping around that there could be more kids potentially rolling up out of here to leave and go other places. And you hate to see that. You're coming off a 9-3 year. You have a chance in a bowl game to go 10-3. You've got the right type of coach here. I think we all believe in Brent Key. I think he'll nail the offensive coordinator hire at some point before it's all said and done. I just don't know why people want to get up and leave the way that they like to.
Everything has been done the right way. The amount of patience, the amount of development, the amount of the increases in wins,
right,
the amount of the increase in visibility to the program. Coach Key has done everything right. Now, you're right. It could be beyond Aaron Philo if more kids leave. You get to a place where you could have a 10-win season, and maybe it's just a sign of the times that we're having to deal with locally, but you could have a 10-win season and then have absolutely no idea what you have in front of you as you get ready to go into the next season.
Now, they have a couple of younger quarterbacks still listed on the roster. Graham Knowles, a kid who was 6'7", 230 pounds, out of South Lake Carroll, Texas. He was a 3-star recruit 2 years ago in the 2024 class. They also had a 3-star recruit in the 2025 class. So you've got a couple of homegrown kids there. The other one's name is Grady Adamson out of Edmond, Oklahoma. The problem is, can you go into a season with guys that have taken no snaps? And I think the answer is no. I think the answer is lying out there somewhere in the transfer portal. And I would think a portal quarterback, and I know Buster Faulkner's not going to be here, but I think a portal quarterback would look and go, you know, look what they did with Haynes King. Haynes King was seen as sort of a bust a little bit at Texas A&M. I don't think he really fit the offense they were trying to run there. He came here. He cut his teeth. He helped elevate the program. You're in the city of Atlanta. Like, people forget about that. You're in downtown Atlanta. You have an unbelievable academic institution, and it feels like the football team's on the upswing. Could I be the salesman now, Hometeam, for Georgia Tech?
It seems like that's the way to go. I mean, you boys down in Miami, I got Carson Beck a couple of years ago. Caleb Williams leaves Oklahoma, and he goes to USC.
And we had Cam Ward the year before
Your
that.
Heisman Trophy Award winner when you're looking at Fernando Mendoza, Diego Pavia.
Yep.
It seems like that's the way to go to be relevant, to get some wins when you have a program built up around you, but you need that one piece that you might not need to wait to develop.
Hey, you have 7 of the 11. I didn't mention James Madison because I don't know their quarterback situation like that. 7 of the 11 playoff teams are transfer portal quarterbacks. From Ohio State all the way down to Tulane, there's transfer portal quarterbacks all throughout. So if you can find the right guy and you can bring that dude in, I think it's going to be a seamless transition. But for Brent Key, unfortunately, it was you put some chips into one kid's basket, and unfortunately, big bank is taking little bank.
Georgia Tech fans, how do you feel that Aaron Philo looks like he's headed to the transfer portal? 404-231-1680. It'll be all right, Brent Key.
Yep.
We'll get the right quarterback in here. Or is this an issue that could stymie the growth of the program? 404-231-1680.
Hey, don't forget, Nick and Chris today are going to be hitting the road for Waterburger Wednesdays. You can join them at Waterburger, 1685 Pleasant Hill Road in Duluth. They're going to be there starting at 10 o'clock. Stop by during the first hour from 10 to 11. Enjoy a free honey butter chicken biscuit courtesy of Waterburger. And then from 11 to 2, they're giving away 680 Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwiches. Come by, meet the guys, grab some food, score plenty of free goodies. You don't want to miss Waterburger Wednesday. Today, 10 to 2, 1685 Pleasant Hill Road in Duluth.
7 o'clock hour is brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. Big enough to serve, small enough to care. Could a Falcon be in line for a major award? Defensive Rookie of the Year odds changing by the week, John Michaels. And there are a couple of Atlanta Falcons who have a interesting shot because with 3 games left, they could move from where they are to maybe the top of the list when you talk about James Pierce Jr. And Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker missing a lot of times with that hamstring injury early in the season, but he has certainly made a major impact on pressure and heat around the quarterback when he has been healthy and been in the game. And what James Pierce Jr. is doing as a rookie at the Falcons defensive position where he is charged with just going to get the quarterback, he is doing that. And now he's got 3 more games to add to his already historic rookie sack numbers.
Is it 6 straight weeks now that James Pierce Jr. has a sack?
Yeah.
So we found our guy, and that should alleviate the conversation about losing the first-round pick next year, because your first-round pick for next year very well might be NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year.
That's a win.
You found the dude there, and I think you found the dude in Jalen Walker. When he's healthy, he can do so many different things on the defensive side of the ball. It turns up being great. I love the effort that James Pierce Jr. plays with. And as he gets a little bit bigger and adds a little bit more weight to the NFL game, he might be a 10-sack guy every single year, which is something we've been looking for, carry the 2 forever.
And, towards the end, and you can't believe everything around draft time because folks just send stuff out because you never know who's trying to get a guy to fall or that's the guy they really want. But the negative conversations about him maybe not being coachable, him being maybe a little bit of a malcontent at Tennessee, those things have not manifested themselves at all. And he has been just fine as he continues to grow, and you can only expect him to get better. And it'll be interesting to see what the final sack number is for him as he has 3 more opportunities to improve on his number.
Yeah, his only issue, remember during training camp, he got in a couple of fights almost every day.
I want a guy in some fights.
Throw some hands. Just don't punch anybody in the helmet because that's stupid.
And we got to teach him how to fight in practice. Grab some shoulder pads, put a forearm maybe up in a chin. But, yeah, don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, or don't hurt your teammates either.
404-231-1680. We are asking Tech fans, you okay with Aaron Philo leaving as Brent Key can still build around it, or is this a change, maybe not for the better? Greg, you've been calling from Sugar Hill. Thank you for calling us here in the locker room.
Good morning, gents. This is Greg up in Sugar Hill. Appreciate the call. Love the show. Just wanted to comment that the main thing that I take away from all this is that we paid him aggressively NIL to stick around for another year. So I'm kind of on Jay Michael's side on this. With that, though, we haven't seen the kid play but twice when you break it all down, besides, a couple sub-ins where he's gotten in the game, and it's not like he lit the world on fire. So I'm not sweating it. I trust what Brent Key's doing. He's building the program, and quite frankly, I want guys that are committed to sticking around like we've had for the last 3 years running the offense.
Thanks. Great call.
Yeah.
You know what? Brent Key, he found a way to get Haynes King to come. He found a way to get Aaron Philo to come. So why can't he get another quarterback and pick the right one? The issue is we know we've had conversations with Brent Key, and even going back to last year, you don't want to start pumping up the backup quarterback when you have a good quarterback already under the reins. But he was very excited about getting Aaron Philo the chance to run the program when Haynes King's time was coming to an end. So knowing how Brent Key felt about him, now it's just a business. He's got to find a way to find another quarterback to run the program.
At Young City sends us a message, said, what about DJ Lagway to Georgia Tech? I'd rather not. I think the kid had talent or has talent. Obviously, you're a 5-star recruit. You've got talent. But I watched him on the field way too many times, and it didn't feel like that talent was translating to the college game. I also think DJ Lagway, just my estimation, is going to head towards home again. And home was back in Texas. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's at TCU or Houston or Texas Tech or somewhere along those lines. Would they kick the tires on him? Yeah, he's 6'2", 6'3", 240-pound type kid. He's just not that accurate of a quarterback. I'd say no.
And my thing is, I don't know all of the details what happened. If he couldn't work it out with Buster Faulkner,
right?
I don't know what else you need to know. Buster can call some plays, and he can get some yards cut up on the defense. Kevin, you've been holding. Thank you for calling us here in the locker room.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
As a Tech alumni, and I'm old school, if you come to Tech, play Tech, that's great. We cheer for you, root for you. But if you leave in Tech for money or PT, that's on you. Fine, leave, go. But in my mind, you're not a Tech man until you walk across that stage, get that piece of paper, then you're a Tech man for life. Doors open up for you for life. With Philo, fine if he leaves, that's fine. If he stays, that's fine. But the way I look at it, and I take for granted for what Brent Key stated back during the year, that it was the deepest quarterback room that he's ever had or seen in his playing time and coaching career. So with that, I'm confident in the kids that were the redshirt freshmen. The other thing I look at, Philo's 6'2", and you got 3 guys that are around the 6'4" to 6'7" height, where you're not standing on your tiptoes to see over the offensive line. It's time that people realize, hey, if you're going to play at Tech, you're getting ready to go pro too, because you look at the size of the linemen and the players they are now recruiting and going after. They're not going for and I hate to say it, the Paul Johnson midget team to play the triple option. They're looking for the kids that are going to make the next step up to the big level.
Thanks for the call, Kevin. The number he called, 404-231-1680. So people, that's the second call.
For those listening online.
They got a treat.
Yeah.
Or maybe they didn't. But, there's the confidence that Brent Key can find another. That, it's not the end of the world if Haynes King transitions out and Aaron Philo decides to leave. But the scary part is what you brought up, John. What if more kids transfer out? Because there was a building of a program. You could see development. You could see betterment of the kids that stayed. And now it looks like I'm not saying starting all over, but it could be completely different from what we've seen the last 2 years.
Yeah, sometimes players are tied to coaches. I mean, that's just a simple fact. Sometimes, like there used to be a time when kids committed to a school. I think a lot of times now kids commit to a coach and a philosophy.
And money.
And money, too. Yeah. Absolutely. That's a big part of it. The days of going, man, my dream school was, Caltech or whatever, and this is where I want to go. I don't think that exists the same way. I think a lot of it now is, hey, what can this coach do for me? What is the offensive philosophy or defensive philosophy, and how much am I getting paid?
Bill, calling from Charleston. Thank you for calling us here in the locker room.
Hey, guys. I've talked a couple of times this season about Tech, but I'll give you a perspective from somebody who's not an alum and really has no dog in the fight, just an FSU guy with a lot of interest in our conference and maybe seeing it not die away. As I said to you calling in even a couple times during the latter part of the season, that ending, I think, did more detriment to the team than actual meaning to be building it for a better future. Everybody was paying attention to Tech, the recruits, the coaching, everybody. Everybody saw what was happening, and we didn't have to win it all. They didn't have to win it all. They just had to perform better, because now I think, honestly, as, again, somebody who's not in it, not right inside of it, Tech looks again like NC State, looks like Duke, or looks, all your vanilla ACC teams, where last year was that chance to bump them up to the Clemson, FSU, Miami level. And I think what you're going to see now is the take a step backwards even. I mean, yeah, you lose coaches, you lose key players, and I just don't think what happened last year is going to carry over next year because of just how poorly that season ended. And that's just an opinion from somebody that doesn't have a dog in the fight.
Thanks for the call, Bill.
Yeah.
We won't know the fallout from the last two games, or really the Pitt game, maybe for a couple of years, because you would still need a transition year, you would think, when Philo came in. But you were hoping to build off of this end run, potentially, of going to the ACC title game, potentially playing in a college football playoff game this week. You would have been playing.
You'd have been playing
this week had you gone to the championship game and won it, and now everything is up in the air seemingly.
Yeah, and it is a tough way to end it. That's where I think, the Pop-Tart Bowl becomes actually really important for Tech. One, you're playing a team that missed the playoffs by a game in BYU. They were the second team out right behind Notre Dame. So if you could somehow knock them off, you could say, hey, we were good enough to play with anybody in the country. We could have played with a playoff team. But that Pitt first quarter is going to come back to haunt them for a long time. If they simply are only down 7-0, they win that game and they play in Charlotte, and who knows what happens against Virginia. Duke wouldn't have been in it, and maybe Georgia Tech is on the road at Ole Miss this week for a college football playoff game. Losing Buster Faulkner, I don't know what the logistics was behind that. Was it simply Florida offered him a different opportunity?
It's the SEC.
Yeah, it is the SEC. And a chance to rebuild a former power in college football. But it has been a tough 4 or 5, maybe even 6 weeks for Brent Key and company.
Got to tell you though, man, if they don't, you got to win this game just for a round number of 10 wins.
Yeah.
Finishing off, it will be very sobering if you lose this game and you go into the offseason losing 4 out of your
5.
last 5 games after the wonderful start that you had all season.
And truthfully, losing to Georgia, that's kind of expected. Yeah, you lose to BYU, it wouldn't be a killer. Losing to NC State and Pitt with everything on the line and losing the way that you did, not ideal.
Some people are saying, why doesn't Aaron Philo just wait and see who the next OC becomes?
Right.
Because what if it's Chip Kelly? I mean, if I'm a college quarterback, I would be excited about Chip Kelly potentially being my OC. But you got to also think, if Buster is reaching out to Aaron and saying, hey, come follow me, but you got to tell me now, because you can't wait. Because if you do wait, Florida may get another quarterback, and that opportunity to move along may move along as well.
If he is supremely comfortable and confident in the offense, because every single snap he had to be ready to go in case Haynes King was coming out of the game, and he's comfortable with Buster Faulkner, he might have already made his decision. But you're right, just waiting and seeing. He can't jump into the portal for a while, but if he's already made up his decision, man, that's going to be a toughie for the Jackets.